engine is designed to grab the attention of people who are always on the go. You can now watch your favorite show, Kusile Breakfast Show, and Dinzaba at 7 on your favorite YouTube channel.
It's simple. You can stream these shows by following these quick, easy steps. Number 1, open YouTube. Number 2, search for Eswatini TV and click on Eswatini TV. Number 3, after you had entered on Eswatini TV, look for Dinzaba or KPS. And while you at it, don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the bell button to get notifications of our video uploads and streams. And lastly, enjoy the stream. Stay home and watch Eswatini TV. Stay safe.
Asinibusele sinimukele namhla ekseni ehlelweni Kusile Breakfast Show sathema ukuthi nivuka kahle namhla kungumsombuluko sithema nokuthi nibe nempela sonvo lenhle nalebusisekile siyanemukela. It's Monday 28th of February 2022 namhla ke langa lekugcina layo inyanga yendlovana kanselo sanikumbuta ukuthi nithumele leyo milayeto ama love stories enikuye inombolo ya 7621 ni hotela Leather George Hotel lesikhathi yasibukena ngombiko losuka idiko letempilo. Langa layitolo kuhlola abantu labango 555 kwatholakala ukuthi labasihlanu banemkhuhlane COVID-19 kude ke labasishile itolo emhlabeni kanti labasesibhedlela labelashwako bangu 11 bese kuthi lasebaluleme inombolo letinsha bangu 25 so lababhethuko lomkhuhlane lasebawutholile sabangu 69130 lasebashiye emhlabeni bangu 1390 kanti sabagome ngalokuphelele bangu 335,161 lesekunda 28.9% we total population. Azike sekungenela ilanga lesine solokuchubeka impi emkhathini welive leRussia kanye nase Ukraine. Inhlangano emavala abamhlophe EU seyimemedele ukuthi seyivalile iairspace ilive laseRussia tindiza ta 7 laseRussia angeke disakhona kundizela khona emave esifundeni sase Europe kanti lokho kumemedelwe nguye commissioner wayo lenhlangano yaka EU kanti ke sekungena elangeni lesine impilo echubekako eveni laseRussia kusukela iRussia yahlasela live lase-Ukraine ngovasathi buka kabanti leto namuhla kuletelo thamba imbili kulamanye emave emhlaba saphinze sikhulumisane lapha nebeti imidlalo sakumloko ukuthi itolo bekulanga lemidlalo we-Orlando Pirates kanye ne-Leopard lebedlalela eMbombela Stadium iphumeleleke Orlando Pirates ngamagoli lasithupha kulamabili Orlando Pirates ithole 6 amagoli iLeopard yona yathola amabili kuphela sabe sikhumsana nayo lapha insaseli yethu yetemidlalo Linda Master kabanti nje nangaletinye netemidlalo lebetendeka kulempela somfo lesikhathi asibahlole emakethe sawena iDinzaba date food ekucala.
Kungelithandvo, kungekwatana, kungekuhlalisana, kungebungani, lutsandvo lukhona. Ungaphuthelwa lapho tithandzane tihlangana ticoca ngokuthi kodwa tahlangana njani? Impilo iqhuba njani emshadweni? Kodwa vele luthando lukhona yini? Kungako sithi love exists.
Emandleni umfata miyashaya bhoda.
Wangidlula ke ngathi wangikabuza asumananga
Ngaqala ngakushikilisa babe. Forgot to mention that one. I really didn't want this guy.
Love exists. Luthando lukhona.
Love is more than a four-letter word. It is even more beautiful when you fall in love in the kingdom's dynamic and diverse tourism attractions, which is why this year we're capturing heartwarming love stories in the kingdom's finest places. Bukhomba wena newakho buhlebe luthando Eswatini. Join us every Sundays of the month of love at 5:30 p.m. only on Eswatini TV. Thank you, Eswatini Tourism Authority. #Love Eswatini.
I do the most. Watch local TV on the go with the Eswatini TV app for only 20 emalangeni. Come on. Do the most with Eswatini TV app. Download from Google Play Store or App Store. We're good together.
Everywhere you go, MTN.
Sipenze sinimukele ihlelweni Kusile Breakfast Show lesikhathi sitabwati indzaba tetfu tekucala. Live libambe inkonzo yemngcwabo lechutshwe embusweni yaloyo bekayindvuna ilitulo temcebo waphansi nemandla Peter Bembe esikolweni lesiphakeme saselangeni. Ingonyama silo inkosi Mswati wesithathu lebeyimelelwe ngumfana inkosi Fipha akanye nembishop Mavovo. Mkhonto ivakalise ukuthumala kwayo ngekundlula emhlabeni kwendvuna Bembe.
Loyo lobeka indvuna elitiko letemcebo waphansi nemandla Peter Bembe usishiye emhlabeni mhla tingemashumi lamabili nakunye kulesetulu esibhedlela eNingizimu Afrika. Live libambe inkonzo yemngcwabo lechutshwe ngendlela yekufihla labakhulu embusweni lebanjwe esikolweni lesiphakeme saselangeni. Ingwenyama silo inkosi Mswati wesithathu lesimelwe ngumfana inkosi Fipha kanye nembishop Mavovo Mkhonto kulo msebenzi ithi live lilahlekelwe kakhulu ngekhamba emhlabeni kwendvuna Bembe.
Ngithunywa lapha kini kulesikhathi ngithunywa ubukhosi bakangwane. Kuthi kokucala kulesimo lesivele kaBembe nasecabinet nginikhalele ngale ndoda yakaBembe lengene ngesikhathi lesilukhuni yangena yabamba kwevakala ngakho-ke icabinet ayingapheli emandla ayijine icine ibambisise kubaba Bembe iyabonga yakunene kuthi nitale nikhulise Peter ngaledlela enamtala ngayo namkhulisa agcine abe lusito lolukhulu evele. Leyo mbuliso iyathandzeka, iyabongeka. Bekunene ukhosi kudzabukile kakhulu ngale ndoda. Kepha inelithemba kuthi njengoba nenda nitawuphindze niguce nithandaze. Umdali ayikhombe indoda lenjengaye Bhembe letawuchuba lo msebenzi. Nekunikhumbuta bekunene kuthi solo iyathandaza, kuthi emaswati ayinike ukuthula, ayinike bunye. Utobalula lo mthwalo lewethwele walelifa.
Kuthiwa nje kwethulela ivesi ingonyama lesiphathise lona. Ncwadi yaLuka 24 verse 28. Base basonzela kulomuti lebe baya kuwo. Jesu washaya sengathi uyendlula verse 29. Kodwa bamcela bathi hlala nathi sekuhlwile futhi sekumnyama. Wangena wahlala nabo. Nakulesikhathi make inkosi uBhembe kuhamba kwemphunga babeBhembe kungabonakala kwangathi sekuhlwile, kubonakala kwangathi sekumnyama, kodwa ikhona indoda ekumenywa uJesu igama layo.
Naku ingonyama lesithuma kona kwalo msebenzi nekubambisa bakaBhembe kuthi ube impumelelo. Bayethe
phakathi wena ungangasendaba kwimpume yabalekele emathole esinyathi bayethe.
Indvuna Bhembe ishiye emhlabeni ineminyaka lengu-67 njengoba yatalwa mhlati nge-21 ngenyanga yaKholwane ngeminyaka wanga-1954. Ube indvuna iminyaka lengetulu kwalemthatfu ngemuva kwekungena ehhovisi ngeminyaka wanga-2018. Indvuna Bhembe lapho isebente khona kulokunye kuseswatini Water Service Corporation lapho khona ibe ngumphathi walenkampane iminyaka leyengcako ku-25. Etindzabeni Eswatini TV kubika Nelsiwendla ngamandla ngiselangeni.
Hulumende uthi ulahlekelwe kakhulu ngekuhamba emhlabeni kwaloyo bekayindvuna yelitiko letemcebo waphansi nemandla Peter Bhembe. Indvuna yelitiko letemabhizinisi netekuthengiselana Manxoba Khumalo lebekamelele uhulumende enkonzweni yemgcwabo wayo indvuna lechutshwe ngendlela yokufihla labakhulu embusweni esikolweni lesiphakeme saselangeni. Ithi hulumende uyibonile indlela indvuna lengasekho letikhandle ngayo kusebentela live leSwatini.
Indvuna yetemabhizinisi nekuthengiselana Manxoba Khumalo lebeyimele uhulumende enkonzweni yemgcwabo wendvuna yelitiko letemcebo waphansi nemandla Peter Bhembe lechutshwe ngendlela yokufihla labakhulu embusweni esikolweni lesiphakeme saselangeni. Yithi indlela indvuna lengasekho beyisebenta ngayo beyikhomba kwekuthi itibophelele emsebentini wayo. Indvuna ichaze Bhembe njengemuntfu lobe alitsandza lubumbano kuthula kanye nekusebenzisana.
Minister Bhembe was not just an ordinary politician. He was, above everything else, a God-fearing man, a loving and dedicated husband, a caring father, and a role model of a leader. He was very kind-hearted, both in work and outside of work. His main passion was his dedication to serve, and you would see his diligence in the fact that he would report for duty even when it was obvious that his health is failing him. Those of us who worked closely with him in cabinet were always amazed by his tenacity and his resilience. We simply admired his work ethic.
Grace Bembe lokhulunyelwe nguNomcebo Dlamini ukuthi umyeni wakhe lobese kashade naye iminyaka lengu-41 bekamthanda kakhulu futhi amhlonipha.
I could not have imagined losing him so early and so sudden. I met my husband nearly 45 years ago. Having shared life with him has been the most wonderful experience. I have been loved, honored, cherished, and respected by my husband from day one.
Tikhulumi letahlukene kulomsebenzi tichaze indvuna Bembe njengemuntfu lobekalunge kakhulu atimisela ngemsebenzi wakhe.
Led the corporation as managing director for over 25 years. His footprint is everywhere within the organization and in the hearts of all of us who are closely connected to Eswatini Water Services family. He was a leader who became a father figure and a spiritual mentor to most of the employees.
Ufikile babe Bembe aniketwa umsebenzi ngonyaka. Wathi nakanyathela kwabonakala ukuthi unyathela kwakhe akufanani nemuntu nje lodlulako. Kepha unyathele ngekuthi ngesikwakhona kumaveni zakhe bekuhamba imali.
Uke lokukhulumile langeke akukhuluma lokungiko ngoba anganikwa idiscretion. There is never discretion in integrity. It's a statement lived and it is a statement declared.
Indvuna Bembe ishiye emhlabeni mhla tingemashumi kulesetulu esibhedlela eNingizimu Afrika. Etindzabeni Eswatini TV nginginelsi ngamandla ngiselangeni.
Sikhulu sasesiphoqosini Japan Dlamini sithi isive sasesiphoqosini asikuwenda umkhuba kubiyela indzawo yasesiphoqosini ngemthandazo. Lesikhulu besikhuluma enkonzweni wekucala umnyaka labebanjelwe emphakathini esiphoqosini.
Sive sasesiphoqosini besingenele inkonzo yekucala umnyaka. Lesive libe siphume ngebuningi baso sithandazele inhlala kahle kanye nekuphumelela kwemisebenzi yekutfutfukisa sive sasesiphoqosini. Sikhuluma kule nkonzo sikhulu Japan sithi kubaluleke kakhulu ukuthi eMaswati akuleya ndzawo akhulekele indzawo yasesiphoqosini. Dlamini uthi insha nayo ayisonzele ngasemphakathini kude ite usitakala nangabe yini imicondvo yekutfutfukisa.
Lelive liyabukutela kulamalanga libi nemimoya lemibi so konke sendelwa nguNkulunkulu. Ngikho ngithithe nje akubuye kuthandazwe sicale kahle kumnyaka sithandaze kuze uNkulunkulu atawuhamba nathi abambisele ngonyama lesinayo. Konke kulemisimvo lekhona ukuthi ngonyama iphumelele libe nekuthula. Lelive lelatiwe ngokuthi live lakangwane lithulile linekuthula ngaso sonke isikhathi linenhlonipho. So lemimoya lekhona ngikubonakala ngekubuka kwami ithenga imithandazo sithandazele nengosi sithandazele nendlovukazi konke lapho kunedinkinga khona nje. Akhona ema project entuthuko kunginyalo nje ngihlongota kwita umhlangano weyouth bete nemibono kulo mhlangano utabe beta nemibono yabo ukuthi awu yini labangayenda sizama ukuthi sibambise iyouth live litawuthuthuka ngoba iyouth bancane akufuneka bahlale ngoba mabahlethi bangabede ama project ukuthi abakhanza abahlethi la dedication so ngalawo magama sibambisa live singumphakathi wasesiphoqosini ukuthi iyouth sibite sive imvo yayo ukuthi yini abayifuna ukuthi kunangokuthi bathuthukise bona baphindze bathuthukise nelive.
Umbishop Samson Hlatshwa kwelibandla leGwamile Apostolic World Faith uthi kumcoka ukuthi libandla lidlale inzima yalo ngoba ke imandla yekwenta tintfo atfolakala kuNkulunkulu.
Nasilapha sitofaka tikhumbane mbango. Tikhumbane letikavusetela. Lumthandazo sikhumbane lesikhulu. Lokhu lesitengako lapha tinzathi litembonyana. Silibandla leGwamile Apostolic World Faith Church. Bakubeka emgomeni walebandla. Uthi njalo ngeminyaka sibe nemphakathi lemithathu lesitayihambele emaplanini ethu.
kuthi kulo mphakathi likhona libandla noma kude kodwa siyawukhulekela.
Le nkonzo beyingenelwe nangemabandla lehlukene akhona esiphocosini. Etindzabeni kubika Sondomlangeni titfombe ngibonkosi Gumetse esiphocosini.
Umndeni wakashongwe endzaweni yakadvukolwako ucela lusito kude ukhone kufihla Njabuliso Vilakati lwabulawa ngesibhuku kaZandondo ngetinsolo tekuthakatha. Ngekusho kamkhulu lomncane wemufi Boy Shongwe bacela lusito lelibhokisi lekufihla umufi.
Sigameko sekubulawa kwaNjabuliso Vilakati lobekafundza form 4 esikoleni lesiphakeme eZandondo senteke nakucala inyanga yendlovana kulomnyaka lapho lomfundzi yahlaselwa sicuku sebantfu esikolweni samthatha samkhunga washaywa wafaka emlilweni. Lese kudzabukisa kutsi mkhulu lomncane wemufi ude imali yekutsenga libhokisi lokufihla umufi kantsi ke nenina walomufi lowashiselwa umuti wabalekela impilo yakhe. Mkhulu lomncane walomfana Boy Shongwe uchaza ngesimo lesikhona.
Akangcwatshwa make sizathu bathi laba bakubo boyise bathi ngeke baze bamngcwabe bafuna kubuye unina lelapha khona athi okhipha ingoma ngcwaba umntwana wakhe ngani ngoba basilonina wabaqosha kuleli khala lakhe wasukhala sakhe esicathulo bathi wabaqosha wathi akabadzinje lapha ekhaya lakhe bathi kuyakubuye yena athi ongcwaba lo mntwana wakhe asadinaka athi emaphoyisa ingcono sineba kashongwe sake simngcwaba lo mntwana ngani vele ngeke bamngcwabe laboyise ngiloko nje nami ngathi ngikhulekela lusito esivele mhlambe ukhona yini lo ngamana ashayeke enhlitweni yakhe bese uyalekelela ngengcwaba lo mntwana libhokisi nje mina ngikhala ngelibhokisi nje kuphela nangathola libhokisi nje lo mntwana ngase uyafihla.
Shongwe uthi nabo besabela impilo yabo ngobe sebake basongelwa. Kungimanje emaphoyisa abophe bantfu labayimfica labasolakala ukuthi basifakile sandla kulesigameko. Etindzabeni kubika Sondomlangeni kadvukolwako.
Likolishi le-SciTech University College liphotfule bafundzi laba ngemakhulu lamabili nalabalishumi labebentata ifundvo letahlukene kuleli kolishi kule babaphotfula abafaka ekhatsi emaphoyisa embube nemaphoyisa lihlangothi lokucondzisa timilo. Umsebenti bebanjwe lehotela le-The George Kamanzini.
Sekwesibili likolishi le-SciTech University College liphotfula abafundzi lebebentata tifundvo letehlukene kufaka ekhatsi tifundvo tebuthishela tebuchwephesha tekuphepha nekuhlantekwa kubala kuletimbalwa. Kulo mcimbi kuphotfule bafundzi labangemakhulu lamabili nalabalishumi kantsi-ke lo mcimbi bewukatse ubanjelwe ehotela le-The George Kamanzini. Lo msebenti-ke bowungenelwe nabatali kutojabula nebantfu babo. Umphatsi waleli Stanley Bilal uthi labanye abakaphumeleli ngenxa yemikhuhlane ye-COVID-19 wathi-ke bayathokoza ngoba babona kukhula ngelizinga lemkhicito wabo njalo ngeminyaka.
We produce teachers, primary school teachers diploma. We have got professional courses, ICT and ethics, ICT, we have logistics, we have got safety, and we have certificate in HSP management, and all in all, we produced 210 this year.
Uthini tifundvo tekufundza online bebatisebentisa ngenxa yemikhuhlane i-COVID-19 lolisetingucuko endleleni yekufundza. Lokhulumela bafundzi kube ngulungelo sibisi lobonge bothishela babo ngekubabeketelela babanike lwati, wabonga nebatali kubasekela ngetindlela itahlukene, wabonga nebudlelwaneke lababakhile lebuhle kusafundwa.
We appreciate all the love, care, support and understanding you have given us over the past 3 years. You have been there for us physically, emotionally, financially, or otherwise. You all have truly been the backbone and driving force behind us, not losing hope and reaching today. We love and appreciate you all that you have done for us and all that you are yet to do for us in the future. We also ask for your continued prayers and support as we enter a world of uncertainty. We are not certain about the future, and what it has meant for us.
Nemaphoyisa-ke umbutho wembube i-Royal Eswatini Police Service newuthi uhlangothi lokucondzisa timilo i-His Majesty's Correctional Services abe yingxenye yalabo bebaphothulwa. Letifundo-ke tithatha isikhathi esingaba iminyaka lemithathu. Etindzabeni ngingiyani Msibi ngikaManzini.
Sive senkundla yasemanzini North sibonga uhulumende ngekusakhela umgwaco njengoba sithi sesitawukhona kufinyelela etindzaweni letahlukene letiniketa lusido. Indvuna yenkundla Fana Thabetse ithi lo mgwaco bowudzingeke kakhulu.
Sibonga nje ukuthi through micro project kube khona lokwendakalako. Kungema phases ke dlamini lapha lehlukene kaningi ukuthi uphele lo mgwaco beku phase 1 loya naye usengapheli. Sikhuluma nje lokusikhuluma lo phase 1 bekufuna abe uhambe umgamo longa 500 meters but ke ngetimo tekusebenta sisaqhubeka ulawume khona nje u378 which means kusele about 122 meters ukuthi ufike kuleyo phase 1 uphele. Sisazama ke sisehleli phansi na micro project ukuthi at least sihambe sifike esigabeni la ekuthenini siyamcoverisha lo 500 side suke la phase 2 ngoba phase 2 usembidlana kukhona lenye indzawo la khona uthola ukuthi naselinila kusahambeki njengoba wati ukuthi sisuka la bekunelitulu lelimatima khona bekune challenge vele kungenyukeke but ke sikufuna kucala kuphele lo phase 1 ikucala kuze sitokhona kucucumela ku phase 2 kona kubi nale ku phase 2 la kufuna kuyiwe khona sekusembili na ujakele emoyeni la sekubi khona kakhulu but ke sihleli nenkundla sahlala ne project committee yakhona la Mzimnene sabukisana ukuthi hayi akaphele lo phase 1 ikucala kuze sinyukele lapha la sekubi khona kona sekubukeka ngazuthi sekuya ngakhona la because sekuyenyukeka khona but sekukhona la sekumadima khona kakhulu ngilapho nje la sesijakele khona ngose khathini lesiningi kuyale kube ngumicro project ke bese sekuphuma nalesive lesikhona la Mzimnene kuyosita nangabe kushiyana ngale project uthi micro usifake RDF noma usifake kuphi but lena beya RDF lesikholelwa ukuthi RDF uyale afune 10% lo kungaba ngiledandla talesive mhlambe netihlabathi lesikhona ko lesive kugwenda lokho ukuthi kufinyelele kube khona siyakhola ukuthi masinyane kutabe kuphelile ngose.
Kutemidlalo indvuna yetemidlalo Harris Bulunga ithi litiko liyajabula ngendlela licembu lemidlalo wegaluva Imbabane Golf Club lihambisa imbili ngayo ukuthuthukisa abomake bemidlalo wegaluva. Indvuna bekhuluma elangeni lekugcina kwemidlalo Imbabane Golf Club lesekelwe libhangi Building Society.
Imbabane Golf Club kulembela sonke beyibamba imidlalo yayo ye-SBS Club Championship. Le midlalo beyisekelwe libhangi Building Society. Le midlalo ifike emaphethelweni ayo kulembela sonke lapho khona indvuna yetemidlalo kuleli Harris Bulunga bekasimenyo lesicavile. Bulunga uthi litiko lakhe liyajabula ngendlela licembu lembabane lelihambisa embili ngalo ukuthuthukisa abomake bemidlalo wegaluva.
As government, and we wish to thank and appreciate the club for putting so much focus into encouraging more women into the sport while also having on-site coaches to train aspiring golfers as young as 3 or 4 years old. We commend you for this. It is particularly pleasing to note that the Mbabane Golf Club current captain, Ms. Fisiwe Vilane, is a woman.
Mbali Sihlongonyana longumphathi welibhange le-Building Society lelisekele lemidlalo uthi kuyabathokozisa kubona indlela abadlali beligaluva basembabane labadlala ngayo futhi bafisile ukuchubeka nebudlelwano lobuhle labanabo nelicembu leMbabane Golf Club.
Today has been a great success, and without you, today would not have been successful. The society shall continue to vouch its support, for as the economy favors us all, we shall keep an open door for our support. I thank you all for your attention and wishing you a wonderful week ahead.
Kanzi lohambe embili kubobabe uvusi Dlamini.
The tournament early weekend lena it was too perfect. The weather was excellent, the attendance by the golfers was excellent, and the spirit within which the game was being played, it was just perfect. We really enjoyed the game.
Labanye labahamba embili kube make nguNosimilo Khomo kanti esigabeni saka-B kube nguSiphesihle Mhlanga kulabanye labanyeni labahlomele. Lobikela umsakazo Eswatini TV temidlalo ngilinda Dlamini eMbabane.
Umdlali we-Tekball waseveni laseNingizimu Afrika Oswin Edwards uthi izinga lemidlalo we-Tekball lapha eSwatini lingetulu kunalelo laseNingizimu Afrika futhi kuningi labafundzile basese kuleli. Edwards bayakhulumana kangenele imidlalo ye-Tekball Club Tournament kaManzini.
Ihlangano lidlalisa umdlalo we-Tekball kuleli yayibambe umcutsulano we-club competition njalo nakuphela inyanga kusukela ngenyanga lephelile. Kule nyanga lesetulu inyanga yendlovana lemidlalo ichubekile lapho khona bekunebadlali abachamuke eveni laseNingizimu Afrika. Oswin Edwards lodlala iqembu le-FC Ipa ubengilomunye wabadlali ababayingxenye lemicutsulwano uthi live leSwatini emidlalweni we-Tekball lingetulu kuneNingizimu Afrika kwanyalo futhi kuningi labakufundzile.
If I can compete, we are still crawling and you guys are definitely running. So we in the building phase, but it's nice to see a blueprint, you know. So it's definitely something we're going to take home and implement back home in South Africa. I'm definitely hoping to get the same level of professionalism, especially amongst the refereeing, and you know, even if players felt like, you know, that was hard done by everyone's sportsman, everyone said, you know what, let's carry on with the game. At the end of the day, it's the game that grows. So that's definitely something we want to take home.
Kanzi amaqembu labekangenelela imidlalo abesiphohlongo lokufaka ikhathi yona iFC Hyper yakhona eNingizimu Afrika. Lobikela umsakazo Eswatini TV temidlalo ngilinda Dlamini eMbabane.
Siyatiphetha indaba tethu ngaleto temidlalo sibahlola temakethe sidabe sichubeke nehlelo.
Pay your TV license quickly and easily with MTN Momo. Simply dial *007 *3 hash and select option 8 for TV license. Enter your national ID number as your reference and the amount you wish to pay. Then enter your PIN to confirm your payment. Once your payment has been made, you'll receive a confirmation SMS of your payment. If you're a first-time payer, you get another SMS for your TV license. So legalize your entertainment from the comfort of your home. Pay your TV license the easy and convenient way with MTN Momo.
Everywhere you go, MTN.
Sehlelweni lethi lithini libandla siyambonga uNkulunkulu uhlelo liphindze libuyele emoyeni.
Basically ngingathi nje empeleni yabona uNkulunkulu nakadala umhlaba including bantu.
Leti khathi leti tethenjisiwe ngofundza incwadi yaJohn chapter 16 verse number 33.
The way the gospel has been portrayed nayiletshwa la kubantu yabo yende ukuthi abantu babe offended.
Sikholwa futhi ukuthi sidaphinde siba nabo evikini lelitako sikhulumisa yona lendzaba lesikhuluma ngayo emsakatweni wakho Eswatini TV sibuko semaswati.
Alichesuke kama lakho likhulu chesuke
Busiseka uvuseleleke wakheke emoyeni ngemculo wetenkolo bahlabeleli balapha eSwatini. Sikulethele abahlabeleli abadala nabo labasakhula emculweni wetenkolo bahlabela bukhoma lapha eSwatini. Siphinde sixoxisane kabanti ngalaba kwentako emsebentini wabo wekuhlabelela igospel konke kungidinisa simakathe. Ungaphuthelwa ngomculo wegospel khona lapha eSwatini TV. In praise, to God be the glory.
Imika yesilungwini ngakhanza kugcwele bamfu basimakathe. Kuyaphitsitelwa, clots waving off like tattered flags. Kusedolobheni impela la. Emehlo ngawajika le le ngakubona. Inhlitiyo yashayela etulu. Emehlo angasafuni kusuka ngasangana ngaphetha. Lo bhuti wangehlula singakakhulumi, overlooking the fact kulungiswa ngemlomo. The first time we met was the last time I saw my soul. How do I live without you just when my very breathing depends on you? You cannot know the fears I have as I think about you. I love thee with a passion put to use. I love you with my childhood's faith, Mngwinas. Bamba sandla sami. Let us go to a place so high, commonly called Cloud 9, up to the 7th heaven of happiness between these mountains called it is comfort you will find. Lapho ngitakutfululela sonke sifuba sami, tell it all like a reporter ngoba kulungiswa ngemlomo. Ngikutshele ngalamahashi laxoshana njalo esifubeni na ungibuka ungibamba. You sent a quiver through my mind and body, yet I feel so warm. I'm nervous. I cannot help but smile. Ngiyashava. I love him. I really do. I love thee with a passion put to use. I love you with my Mngwinas.
I do the most. Watch local TV on the go with the Eswatini TV app for only 20 emalangeni per month. Do the most with Eswatini TV app. Download from Google Play Store or App Store. We're good together.
Everywhere you go, MTN.
Asiphinze sinimukele ehleleni Kusile Breakfast Show sikuvusele nawe losanze kusivulela kulesikhathi sitawubuka late olethamba imbili kulamanye emavi kanti sitawucala khona eveni lase Russia kanye nase Ukraine. Mengameli welive lase Ukraine sovumile ukuthi kubanjwe inkulumiswano kanye nelive lase Russia kodwa ke walileke ukuthi kutibanjelwe eveni lase Belarus.
As the war in Ukraine rages, the hopes that diplomatic efforts could end the fighting appear slim. Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky has said no to Moscow's offer to meet for talks in neighboring Belarus. He said Minsk was complicit in the Russian invasion. However, he left the door open to negotiations in other locations.
Other cities can be a platform for a meeting. Of course, we want peace. We want to meet and put an end to the war. Warsaw, Bratislava, Budapest, Istanbul, Baku. We offered all of these to the Russian side, and we will accept any other city in a country that hasn't been used for launching missiles at us.
That statement came after the Kremlin said that a Russian delegation had arrived in the Belarusian city of Homel for talks with Ukrainian officials. Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov said the delegation includes military officials and diplomats. The Russian delegation is ready for talks and we are now waiting for the Ukrainians, he said. Ukraine, meanwhile, says that it welcomes offers from Turkey and Azerbaijan to help organize talks. Zelensky on Friday offered to negotiate a key Russian demand that Ukraine declare itself neutral and abandon its ambition of joining NATO. Movement, however, to actually advance any diplomacy has stalled.
Kanti ke inhlangano yeNATO ngalesihlanu ibe nemhlangano lophuthumako kudotsingidwa yona indzaba lechubekako eveni lase Russia nelase Ukraine.
A European democracy under attack, an ally of NATO invaded by Russia. As Moscow's troops advanced on Kiev, Ukraine's president gave a televised address Friday.
The world's most powerful forces are watching from afar. Did yesterday's sanctions convince Russia? We hear in our sky and see on our earth. that this is not enough.
Europe, the United States, Canada, Japan and Australia have announced wide-ranging sanctions against Russia aimed at blocking its banks from accessing euros and dollars and freezing the Kremlin out of Western financial markets. Russia's currency hit an all-time low against the dollar. Its stock market plunged 40%. But will these measures be enough to change Putin's mind?
If we look at Putin's actions so far and the kind of sort of decision making that we can analyze, then he always put a higher priority to security considerations than he put to economic considerations.
Ukraine wants direct military support, which NATO has explicitly ruled out.
British and NATO troops should not, must not play an active role in Ukraine.
NATO heads of state met virtually Friday in a rare emergency summit, joined by non-NATO allies Sweden and Finland. For the first time ever, members triggered NATO's Rapid Response Force, enabling the quick deployment of troops and armour to defend the alliance.
NATO allies and the European Union have already introduced significant sanctions. And many of our partners around the globe have joined us. We must stand ready to do more, even if it means we have to pay a price, because we are in this for the long haul.
Outside NATO headquarters in Brussels, demonstrators called for tougher action.
My message is we need help. We're fighting for the whole democratic world here. If we don't stop them in Ukraine, they will go next to European Union.
Ukraine's armed forces have slowed the Russian advance, aided by weapons from Western allies, including the United States and Britain. But analysts say there is a limit to the military aid that the West can deliver.
You cannot just, deliver arms, especially when it's like complicated military systems, and say, here it is, and you do with it whatever you like. You do have to train people, and we may be beyond that stage already.
Anger at Russia's actions and frustration at the Western response have triggered protests in cities across the world, from London to Pretoria, Amman to Buenos Aires. And in Russia itself, thousands of people have been arrested following anti-war protests. Western allies are showing solidarity with Ukraine. Landmarks lit up in yellow and blue. Symbolic gestures, but Ukraine says it needs weapons, not words.
Kanti-ke inhlangano European Commission yona seyimemedele ukuthi itawufreeza bank assets aseveni lase-Russia elibhange le-Russian Central Bank.
Working to cripple Vladimir Putin's war machine, a message of unity and determination from the President of the European Commission. Ursula von der Leyen on Saturday confirmed the EU had agreed to blacklist certain Russian banks from the SWIFT international payment system.
I will now propose to EU leaders the following measures. First, we commit to ensuring that a certain number of Russian banks are removed from SWIFT. Cutting banks off will stop them from conducting most of their financial transactions worldwide and effectively block Russian exports and imports.
SWIFT is the world's top interbank payment system. A ban on Russian institutions, a move described as a financial nuclear weapon, had met reluctance, notably from Germany, over concerns Moscow could cut off key gas supplies. Somewhat more unexpected, a move targeting the Russian Central Bank, whose vast foreign reserves are estimated at over $600 billion.
We will stop Putin from using his war chest. We will paralyze the assets of Russia's central bank. This will freeze its transactions, and it made it impossible for the central bank to liquidate assets.
The United States, Canada and Britain backed the new sanctions and agreed to further restrictions on Russian oligarchs that would limit their access to financial markets and fast-track citizenship known as golden passports. A key objective of Putin's invasion of Ukraine is to redivide Europe and the West. In the immediate, He appears to have managed just the opposite.
Azgeli Villa Semeliganalo has joined in the sanctioning of Russian President Putin.
Homes destroyed in Ukraine's capital, Kyiv. Russia's invasion force leaves a trail of damage in the city as residents take shelter in underground metro stations, fearful of further attacks. On Friday, the White House ramped up its pressure on Moscow.
Following a telephone conversation President Biden held with European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen, and in alignment with the decision by our European allies, the United States will join them in sanctioning President Putin and Foreign Minister Lavrov and members of the Russian National Security Team.
Russian President Vladimir Putin had urged the Ukrainian military to overthrow its government, while Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky called for resistance, saying that he and his soldiers are in Kyiv to defend the country.
Protect our sky. Protect our sky.
In Brussels, Ukrainians protested outside of NATO headquarters on Friday as leaders of the military alliance, as well as Finland, Sweden, and the European Union, convened an emergency summit.
We fully support Ukraine's sovereignty and territorial integrity, its right of self-defense, and its right to choose its own path.
The military alliance activated its defense plans, to NATO's eastern flank.
Obviously, reinforcing Ukraine's neighbors who are in NATO, we see that happening already. But otherwise, there's not too much. I mean, because we know that the US and NATO aren't going to get involved in a war with Russia taking place on Ukrainian soil. So there's a limit to what anybody can do.
US President Joe Biden participated in the NATO summit virtually and also spoke to Zelensky. Earlier this week, Biden deployed more American troops to reassure NATO allies. Friday's sanctions on Putin personally are in addition to the latest rounds of Western sanctions slapped against Russia on Thursday. While targeted to Moscow, the sanctions could also hurt Americans economically and Biden politically.
And we have to hope that whatever repercussions there are end up being more in the short term on the economic side, with things like gas prices and food availability and prices, and don't hit more broadly with cyber attacks on our own banking system or on the electrical grid.
So far, more than 50,000 Ukrainians have left the country, according to the United Nations, with the majority pouring into Poland and Moldova.
Kanti-ke inhlangano yemave labamhlophe seyivalele tonke itindiza taseveni lase-Russia ngokuthi tindizele kona kulesifundza sase-Europe.
The outcry has been global. From Madrid to Melbourne to Istanbul, demonstrators, including many Ukrainian expats, are showing their solidarity with Kyiv. In Berlin, more than 100,000 people rallied.
I would like to call on Russia's mothers. Lock up your husbands, your sons, your boys. Don't let them go to war. I'm convinced that Russian mothers don't want to lose their husbands or sons.
Ukrainians from the French Riviera carrying Stop Putin signs gathered in front of the luxury Negresko Hotel, a favourite Russian tourist spot. In Melbourne, Australia's former opposition leader addressed the crowd.
This fight in the Ukraine is everyone's business, is everyone's struggle, because we believe in this country, in freedom.
Ukrainian expats expressed their feeling of powerlessness and fears for their loved ones.
I actually received a few calls and messages from my friends overnight saying goodbye messages because they're worried that they might not wake up.
Russians too took to city centres from Moscow to Siberia to protest the war, yet again defying official warnings. In St. Petersburg, where dozens gathered peacefully, police in riot gear grabbed protesters and dragged them to police vans. More than 4,000 demonstrators have been arrested since Thursday.
Kanti-ke live lasemelika solo liyaqhubeka nokuthumela emasotsha alo eveni lase-Ukraine.
In the Ukrainian capital, Kyiv, authorities imposed a day and night curfew until Monday morning after Russian forces entered the city. Earlier Saturday, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky sought to reassure his people that he is still in Kyiv and asked them to hang on and resist Russian occupation.
I am here. We are not putting down arms. We will be defending our country because our weapon is truth. And our truth is that this is our land, our country, our children, and we will defend all of this.
Zelensky has united Ukrainians behind him. Former U.S. Ambassador to Ukraine, William Taylor, told VOA.
He is stepping up, standing up, leading his nation. People are falling in behind him. People are supporting him. Opposition leaders, civil society, the military obviously is proud to be led.
Meanwhile, hundreds of anti-war protesters braved arrest Saturday in Yekaterinburg and other Russian cities, chanting "No to war." This shows that Russian President Vladimir Putin is losing the public information side of the war. Bill Browder of the Global Magnitsky Justice Campaign told VOA.
All the major countries have sanctioned Putin, and people in Russia are not happy about this. You have demonstrations going on in Russia. All of the apologists in the West, all the people that Putin has cultivated and paid, are all abandoning him one after the other. He's totally isolated now. Even China, his partner in this thing, are kind of trying to distance themselves from him.
Secretary of State Antony Blinken announced Saturday the U.S. will provide an additional $350 million in military assistance to Ukraine to help it defend its sovereignty. Ambassador Taylor welcomed the move.
So here's another $350 million in body armor, which is necessary to protect people as they're fighting, anti-tank weapons like the javelins, anti-aircraft weapons like Stingers.
Pentagon officials say that so far, Ukraine is fighting back harder than Russia had anticipated.
Kanti inhlangano yakamhlaba yabakhoseli United Nations Refugees Agency seyibike ukuthi kwanyalo bakhoseli lasebabalekele live lase-Ukraine bangu 370,000.
Early Sunday morning at the main train station of Lviv in western Ukraine, civilians, many of them foreigners, wait for their chance to flee. Hours before, scenes of chaos on the platforms amid a mad rush to the west.
The train was cancelled. So basically we're waiting maybe we will be waiting for a couple of hours to get the next one.
Lviv has become a key exit point from Ukraine. More than 150,000 refugees have already poured into neighboring countries. At least half have gone to Poland, where the Interior Minister has said that anyone fleeing Russian bombs can count on support. Hungary, too, has welcomed fleeing Ukrainians. It's a marked departure in refugee policy for both Poland and Hungary, which have recently refused to accept Middle Eastern asylum seekers. Fighting-age men have been barred from leaving Ukraine as the government tries to rally a nationwide defense using both its professional military and civilian volunteers. Meanwhile, some Ukrainians who live abroad are returning to fight.
We are Ukrainians. We are great people. We must fight and we will win. I believe, I pray for win.
EU interior ministers are meeting Sunday to discuss how to handle a crisis that the UN says could create up to 5 million refugees.
Kanti uMengameli Joe Biden ngalesibili kubheka ukuthi yethule inkulumo yakhe kanti lokubheka ukuthi akhulume ngako ngiyo impi lecubeka emkhathini welive leRussia neUkraine akhulume ngemkhuhlane COVID-19 aphindze akhulume ngatoti indzaba temnotho.
There's not a single thing.
The constitutionally mandated address is the rhetorical highlight of the year for a U.S. president. Joe Biden is no exception. But this year's State of the Union, his first, although he has previously addressed a joint session of Congress, comes at an especially fraught time. The White House says that during the Tuesday night speech, Biden is likely to discuss Russia's invasion of Ukraine and provide his wider view of the world.
We are in the middle of an active invasion, so I just can't give you a preview of what that will look like in the State of the Union. As it relates to how the president views his approach to foreign policy, the president has ran for president wanting to return America's seat at the world, wanting to return to a time where other leaders around the world could trust the word and the commitments of the United States. And what you have seen over the last few months is the president deliver on exactly that.
In the past week, Biden has delivered and delivered and delivered several speeches on the escalating crisis in Ukraine. Among Americans, Biden should expect a partisan split in the reaction he gets when discussing what he sees as the greatest threat to global security since World War II.
The country generally rallies behind a president when we face an international crisis. If you watch Tucker Carlson or listen to Donald Trump or know what many Republicans in Congress have been saying, we're not going to get that rallying around the president by a significant share of the population. The tribal divisions are there now for even things that affect American national security.
Presidents also use his speech to sell Congress on their domestic agenda and
they all want to say the state of the economy is such that we are getting richer, we are doing better than ever before. The only exceptions when presidents don't talk about the economy are when we are at war ourselves.
One thing that is certain, America and much of the world will be listening to what he has to say. The address begins at 9 p.m. in Washington on Tuesday.
It's 4 minutes before 7 o'clock. As Batlete Magetes, Dawe and Dinzaba Dead Food, and Simbes Kombisa.
Ligama lami ngingumandla. Ngilashelwa sifo se-TB kanye ne-COVID. Ngithatha yonke imithi yami njengoba bangiyala betempilo. Ngiyakhuthaza ukuthi nawuva izimpawu zemkhuhlane, kukhwehlela, buhlungu besifuba, kushisa kwemtimba, kucinana kanye nekudzinwa. Thola lisito letempilo ngekushesha uhlolwe i-TB ne-COVID.
Lo mlayeto ulethelwa i-TB program ngaphasi kwelitiko letempilo.
Nine bekunene. Sithanda kubonga kakhulu kwamukelana nekusekelana lesokubona emangweni wakithi. Lo sowuthuthuke kakhulu etindzabeni tekwecwayana nekubandlululwa kulabane HIV. Asiqhubekeni singapheli manje. Sibe munye nalabaphila ne-HIV. Bethu nawo.
Sivusele kini nonke bomntwana. Sicela kubonga kakhulu endlunkulu nasemangweni ngekuma nathi singilabaphila ne-HIV. Sikhuluma nje sesiyakhona kusitakala njengawonke umuntu endzaweni. Noma umuntu wathi ihambela nje asisasibo bomakhonjwa ngenhloko. Siyabonga bomaziya kuma nathi.
Kuva kabandi shayela 1212.
When you choose your adventures, you do so with an open heart and a desire for the unexpected. You embark on journeys to discover new worlds, full of wonder. You choose a path to awaken your senses, to feel the rush of life overwhelm you, a world to make you look up and realize just how inspiring this life can be. You ask, and we give you the royal experience. Arrive and awaken your heart. Explore life in ways only thought possible in your dreams. There are but a few places on earth so special, so unique, and so spectacular, where it becomes the rite of passage for the ambitious travelers, the courageous souls, to all have the one and only royal experience. That day when you look deep into your heart and leap into an ancient world so very different from your own, where magic, beauty, and love are shared forever. Then you will have a royal experience. There is just one place on earth where the people make you feel a part of their kingdom, where you just might volunteer to awaken spirits, enrich minds, and work alongside communities to build, motivate, and inspire. This is truly the royal experience. When you dream of a different world, beyond the ordinary, beyond time, discover just how far you go to expand your understanding of life's greatest mysteries. There's just one place on this planet with so much to offer. Now is the time for you to have the royal experience.
I do the most. Watch local TV on the go with the Eswatini TV app for only 20 emalangeni per month. Do the most with Eswatini TV app. Download from Google Play Store or App Store. We're good together. Everywhere you go, MTN.
Asipenze sinimukele ihlelweni ukusile breakfast show sikuvusele nawo losanza kusuvelela kulesikhathi sithabuka indzaba tetfu desibili. Live libambe inkonzo yemgcwabo lechutshwe ngendlela yokufihla labakhulu embusweni yaloyo beka indvuna elitiko temgcebo waphansi nemandla Peter Bembe esikolweni lesiphakeme saselangeni. Ingonyama asule inkosi Mswati wesithathu lebemelelwe ngumfana inkosi Fipha kanye nembishop Mavovo Mkhondvo ivakalise kudumala kwayo ngekudlula emhlabeni kwendvuna Bembe.
Loyo lobeka indvuna elitiko letemcebo waphansi nemandla Peter Bembe usishiye emhlabeni mhla tingemashumi kulesetulu esibhedlela eNingizimu Afrika. Live libambe inkonzo yemgcwabo lechutshwe ngendlela yekufihla labakhulu embusweni lebanjwe esikolweni lesiphakeme saselangeni. Ingwenyama silo inkosi Mswati wesithathu lesimelwe ngumfana inkosi Fipha kanye nembishop Mavovo Mkhondvo kulo msebenzi ithi live lilahlekelwe kakhulu ngekuhamba emhlabeni kwendvuna Bembe.
Ngithunywa lapha kini kulesikhathi ngithunywa ubukhosi bakangwane. Kuthi kokuqala kulesimo lesivele kaBembe nasecabinet nginikhalele ngale ndoda yaBembe lengene ngesikhathi lesilukhuni yangena yabamba kwevakala ngakho-ke icabinet ayingapheli emandla ayijine icine ibambisise kubaba Bembe iyabonga yakunene kuthi nitale nikhulise Peter ngale ndlela enamtala ngayo namkhulisa agcine abe lusito lolukhulu evele. Leyo mbuliso iyathandzeka, iyabongeka. Bekunene ukhosi kujabukile kakhulu ngale ndoda. Kepha inelithemba kuthi njengoba nenda nitawuphindze niguce nithandaze. Umdali ayikhombe indoda lenjengaye Bhembe letawuqhuba lo msebenzi. Nekunikhumbuta bekunene kuthi solo iyathandaza, kuthi eMaswati ayinike ukuthula, ayinike bunye, utobalula lo mthwalo lewethwele walelifa.
Kuthiwa nje kwethulela ivesi ingonyama lesiphathise lona. Ncwadi yaLuka 24 verse 28. Base basonzela kulomuti lebe baya kuwo. Jesu washaya sengathi uyendlula. Verse 29. Kodwa bamcela bathi hlala nathi sekuhlwile futhi sekumnyama. Wangena wahlala nabo. Nakulesikhathi make Nkosi uBhembe kuhamba kwemphunga babeBhembe kungabonakala kwangathi sekuhlwile, kubonakala kwangathi sekumnyama, kodwa ikhona indvodza ekumenywa uJesu igama layo.
Naku ingonyama lesithuma kona kwalo msebenzi nekubambisa bakaBhembe kuthi ube impumelelo. Bayethe
phakathi wena ungangasendaba kwimbubu yabalekele emathole esinyathi bayethe.
Indvuna Bhembe ishiye emhlabeni ineminyaka lengu-67 njengoba yatalwa mhlati nge-21 ngenyanga yaKholwane ngeminyaka wanga-1954. Ube indvuna iminyaka lengetulu kwalemthatfu ngemuva kwekungena ehhovisi ngeminyaka wanga-2018. Indvuna Bhembe lapho isebente khona kulokunye kuseswatini Water Service Corporation lapho khona ibe ngumphathi walenkampane iminyaka leyengcako ku-25. Etindzabeni teSwatini TV kubika Nelsiwendla ngamandla ngiselangeni.
Hulumende uthi ulahlekelwe kakhulu ngokuhamba emhlabeni waloyo beka indvuna yelitiko letemcebo waphansi nemandla Peter Bhembe. Indvuna yelitiko letemabhizinisi nekuthengiselana amanxeba khumalo lebekamelele hulumende kule nkonzo yemgcwabo yendvuna Bhembe lechutshwe ngendlela yekufihla labakhulu embusweni esikolweni lesiphakeme saselangeni. Ithi hulumende uyibonile indlela indvuna lengasekho letikhandle ngayo kusebentela live leSwatini.
Indvuna yetemabhizinisi nekuthengiselana amanxeba khumalo lebeyimele uhulumende enkonzweni yemgcwabo wendvuna yelitiko letemcebo waphansi nemandla Peter Bhembe lechutshwe ngendlela yekufihla labakhulu embusweni esikolweni lesiphakeme saselangeni. Yithi indlela indvuna lengasekho beyisebenta ngayo beyikhomba kwekuthi itibophelele emsebentini wayo. Indvuna ichaze Bhembe njengemuntfu lobe alithandza libumbano kuthula kanye nekusebentisana.
Minister Bhembe was not just an ordinary politician. He was, above everything else, a God-fearing man, a loving and dedicated husband, a caring father, and a role model of a leader. He was very kind-hearted, both in work and outside of work. His main passion was his dedication to serve, and you would see his diligence in the fact that he would report for duty even when it was obvious that his health is failing him. Those of us who worked closely with him in cabinet were always amazed by his tenacity and his resilience. We simply admired his work ethic.
Grace Bembe lokhulunyelwe nguNomcebo Dlamini ukuthi umyeni wakhe lobese kashade naye iminyaka lengu-41 bekamthanza kakhulu futhi amhlonipha.
I could not have imagined losing him so early and so sudden. I met my husband nearly 45 years ago. Having shared life with him has been the most wonderful experience. I have been loved, honored, cherished, and respected by my husband from day one.
Tikhulumi letahlukene kulomsebenzi tichaze indvuna Bembe njengemuntfu lobekalunge kakhulu atimisela ngemsebenzi wakhe.
Led the corporation as managing director for over 25 years. His footprint is everywhere within the organization and in the hearts of all of us who are closely connected to Eswatini Water Service family. He was a leader who became a father figure and a spiritual mentor to most of the employees.
Ufikile babe Bembe aniketwa umsebenzi ngonyaka. Wathi nakanyathela kwabonakala ukuthi unyathela kwakhe akufanani nemuntu nje lodlulako. Kepha unyathele ngekuthi ngesikwakhona kumaveni zakhe bekuhamba imali.
Uke lokukhulumile langeke akukhuluma lokungiko ngoba anganikwa idiscretion. There is never discretion in integrity. It's a statement lived and it is a statement declared.
Indvuna Bembe ishiye emhlabeni mhla tinge-21 kulesetulu esibhedlela Heaven leNingizimu Afrika. Etindzabeni Eswatini TV nginginelisiwendla ngamandla ngiselangeni.
Sikhulu sasesiphoqosini Japan Dlamini sithi siveza kulendzawo sikwenda umkhuba kubiyela indzawo yasesiphoqosini yemthandazo. Sikhulu Japan besikhuluma enkonzweni wekucala umnyaka labo banjelwe khona emphakathi.
Sive sasesiphoqosini besingenele inkonzo yekucala umnyaka. Lesive libe siphume ngebuningi baso sithandazele inhlala kahle kanye nekuphumelela kwemisebenzi yekutfutfukisa sive sasesiphoqosini. Sikhuluma kule nkonzo sikhulu Japan sithi kubaluleke kakhulu ukuthi eMaswati akuleyanzawo akhulekele indzawo yasesiphoqosini. Dlamini uthi insha nayo ayisonzele ngasemphakathini kude ite usitakala nangabe inimicondvo yekutfutfukisa.
Lelive liyabukutela kulamalanga libi nemimoya lemibi so konke sendelwa nguNkulunkulu. Ngikho ngithithe nje hawu akubuye kuthandazwe sicale kahle kumnyaka sithandaze kuze uNkulunkulu atawuhamba nathi abambisele ngonyama lesinayo. Konke kulemisimbo lekhona ukuthi ngonyama iphumelele libe nekuthula. Lelive lelatiwe ngokuthi live lakangwane lithulile linekuthula ngaso sonke isikhathi linenhlonipho. So lemimoya lekhona ngikubonakala ngekubuka kwami ithenga imithandazo sithandazele nengosi sithandazele nendlovukazi konke lapho kunedinkinga khona nje. Akhona ema project entuthuko kunginyalo nje ngihlongota kubita umhlangano weyouth bete nemibono kulo mhlangano utabe beta nemibono yabo ukuthi awu yini labangayenda sizama ukuthi sibambise iyouth live litawuthuthuka ngoba iyouth bancane akufuneka bahlale ngoba mabahleti bangabede ama project ukuthi abakhanza abahleti la dictation so ngalawo magama sibambisa live singumphakathi wasesiphoqosini ukuthi iyouth sibite sive imvoya ukuthi yini abayifuna ukuthi kunangokuthi bathuthukise bona baphindze bathuthukise nelive.
Umbhishobhi Samson Hlatshwayo welibandla leGwamile Apostolic World Faith uthi kumcoka ukuthi libandla lidlale inzima yalo ngoba ke imandla yekwenta tintfo atfolakala kuNkulunkulu.
Nasilapha sitofaka tikhumbane mbango. Tikhumbane letikavusetela. Lomthandazo sikhumbane lesikhulu. Lokho lesitenga kolapha tinzathi litembulana. Silibandla leGwamile Apostolic World Faith Church. Bakubeka emgomeni walelibandla. Uthi njalo ngeminyaka sibe nemphakathi lemithathu lesitayihambele emaplanini ethu. Kuthi kulo mphakathi likhona libandla noma kude kodwa siyawukhulekela.
Le nkonzo beyingenelwe nangemabandla lehlukene akhona esiphocosini. Etindzabeni kubika Sondomlangeni titfombe ngibonkosi Gumedze esiphocosini.
Umndeni wakashongwe endzaweni yakadvokolwako ucela lusito kude ukhone kufihla Njabuliso Vilakati lowabulawa ngesibhuku kaZandondo etinsolo tekutsakatha ngekusho kamkhulu lomncane wemufi Boy Shongwe bacela lusito lelibhokisi lekufihla umufi.
Sigameko sekubulawa kwaNjabuliso Vilakati lobekafundza form 4 esikoleni lesiphakeme eZandondo senteke nakucala inyanga yendlovana kulomnyaka lapho lomfundzi yahlaselwa sicuku sebantfu esikolweni samthatha samkhunga washaywa wafaka emlilweni lesekudzabukisa kutsi mkhulu lomncane wemufi ude imali yekutsenga libhokisi lokufihla umufi kantsi ke nenina walomufi lowashiselwa umuti wabalekela impilo yakhe. Mkhulu lomncane walomfana Boy Shongwe uchaza ngesimo lesikhona.
Angcwatshwa make sizathu bathi laba bakubo boyise bathi ngeke baze bamngcwabe bafuna kubuye unina lelapha khona athi okhipha ingoma ngcwaba umntwana wakhe ngani ngoba basilonina wabaqosha kuleli khala lakhe wasukhala sakhe esithathulo bathi wabaqosha wathi akabadzinje lapha ekhaya lakhe bathi kubuye yena athi ongcwaba lo mntwana wakhe asadinaka athi emaphoyisa ingcono sineba kashongwe sake simngcwaba lo mntwana ngani ba vele ngeke bamngcwabe laboyise ngiloko nje nami ngathi ngikhulekela lusito esivele ukuthi mhlambe ukhona yini lo ngamana ashayeke enhlitweni yakhe bese uyalekelela ngengcwaba lo mntwana libhokisi nje mina ngikhala ngelibhokisi nje kuphela bangathola libhokisi nje lo mntwana ngase uyafihla.
Shongwe uthi nabo besabela impilo yabo ngobe sebake basongelwa kungimanje emaphoyisa abophe bantfu labayimfica labasolakala ukuthi basifakile isandla kulesigameko. Etindzabeni kubika Sondomlangeni kadvokolwako.
Le-SciTech University College liphotfule bafundzi labangemakhulu lamabili nalabalishumi labebenta tifundvo letahlukene kuleli kolishi. Kulaba baphotfula bafaka ekhatsi emaphoyisa embube nemaphoyisa eluhlangothi lokucondzisa timilo.
Sekwesibili likolishi le-SciTech University College liphotfula abafundzi lebebenta tifundvo letehlukene kufaka ekhatsi tifundvo tebuthishela tebuchwephesha tekuphepha nekuhlantekwa kubala kuletimbalwa. Kulomcimbi kuphotfule bafundzi labangemakhulu lamabili nalabalishumi kantsi-ke lo mcimbi bewukatse ubanjelwe ehhotela le-The George kaManzini. Lo msebenti bewungenelwe nabatali kutojabula nebantfu babo. Umphatsi waleli kolishi Stanley Bilal uthi labanye abakaphumeleli ngenxa yemikhuhlane ye-COVID-19 wathi-ke bayathokoza ngoba babona kukhula ngelizinga lemkhicito wabo njalo ngeminyaka.
We produce teachers, primary school teachers diploma. We have got professional courses, ICT and ethics, ICT, we have logistics, we have got health and safety, and we have certificate in HSB management, and all in all, we produced 210 this year.
Uthi netifundvo tekufundza online bebatisebentisa ngenxa yemikhuhlane i-COVID-19 lolisetingucuko endleleni yekufundza. Lokhulumela bafundzi kube ngulungelo sibisi lobonge bothishela babo ngekubabeketelela babanike lwati wabonga nebatali kubasekela ngetindlela itahlukene wabonga nebudlelwane lababakhile lebuhle kusafundwa.
We appreciate all the love, care, support and understanding you have given us over the past 3 years. You have been there for us physically, emotionally, financially, or otherwise. You all have truly been the backbone and driving force behind us, not losing hope and reaching today. We love and appreciate you all that you have done for us and all that you are yet to do for us in the future. We also ask for your continued prayers and support as we enter a world of uncertainty. We are not certain about the future and what it has packed for us.
nemaphoyisa-ke umbutho wembobe i-Royal Eswatini Police Service newoluhlangatho lokucondzisa timilo His Majesty's Correctional Services abe yingxenye yalabo bebaphothulwa. Letifundvo-ke tithatha isikhathi esingaba iminyaka lemithathu. Etindzabeni ngingiyani Msibi ngikaManzini.
Sive senkundla yasemanzini North sibonga uhulumende ngekusakhela umgwaqo njengoba sithi sesitawukhona kufinyelela etindzaweni letahlukene letiniketa lusido. Indvuna yenkundla fana Thabetse ithi lo mgwaqo udzingeke kakhulu.
Sibonga nje ukuthi through micro project kube khona lokwendakalako. Kungema phases ke dlamini lapha lehlukene kaningi ukuthi uphele lo mgwaqo beku phase 1 loya naye usengapheli. Sikhuluma nje lokusikhuluma lo phase 1 bekufuna abe uhambe umgami longa nga 500 meters but ke ngedimo tekusebenta sisaqhubeka kube nama challenges lapha nalapha but solo kusaqhubeka ulawume khona nje u 378 which means kusele about 122 meters ukuthi ufike kuleyo phase 1 uphele. Sisazama ke sisehleli phansi na micro project ukuthi at least sihambe sifike esigabeni la ekuthenini siyamcoverisha lo 500 side suke la phase 2 ngoba phase 2 usembidlana kukhona lenye indzawo la khona uthola ukuthi naselinila kusahambeki njengoba wadi ukuthi sisuka la bekunelitulo lelimatima khona bekune challenge vele kungenyukeke but ke sithena sihleli sibukisana ukuthi kufuna kuqale kuphele lo phase 1 ikucala kuze sitokhona kucucumela ku phase 2 kona kubi nale ku phase 2 la kufuna kuyiwe khona sekusembili na ujakele emoyeni la sekubi khona kakhulu but ke sihleli nenkundla sahlala neproject committee yakhona la Mzimnene sabukisana hayi akaphele lo phase 1 ikucala kuze sinyukele lapha la sekubi khona kona sekubukeka ngazuthi sekuya ngakhona la because sekuyenyukeka khona but sekukhona la sekumadima khona kakhulu ngilapho nje la sesijakele khona ngose khathini lesiningi kuyale kube ngumicro project ke bese sekuphuma nalesive lesikhona la Mzimnene kuyosita nangabe kushiyana ngale project uthi micro but lena be ya RDF lesikholelwa ukuthi RDF uyale afune 10% lo kungaba ngiledandla talesive mhlambe netihlabathi lesikhonako lesive kugwenda lokho ukuthi kufinyelele kube khona siyakhola ukuthi masinyane kutabe kuphelile ngose.
Kutemidlalo, indvuna yetemidlalo Harris Bulunga ithi litiko liyajabula ngendlela licembu lemidlalo wegaluva eMbabane Golf Club lihambisa imbili ngayo kuthuthukisa abomake bemidlalo obegaluva. Indvuna bekhuluma elangeni lekugcina lemidlalo weMbabane Golf Club lesekelwe libhange iBuilding Society.
iMbabane Golf Club kulembela sonto beyibamba imidlalo yayo ye-SBS Club Championship. Le midlalo beyisekelwe libhange iBuilding Society. Le midlalo ifike emaphethelweni ayo kulembela sonto lapho khona indvuna yetemidlalo kuleli Harris Bulunga bekasimenyo lesicavile. Bulunga uthi litiko lakhe liyajabula ngendlela licembu leMbabane lelihambisa embili ngalo ukuthuthukisa abomake bemidlalo wegaluva.
As government, and we wish to thank and appreciate the club for putting so much focus into encouraging more women into the sport while also having on-site coaches to train aspiring golfers as young as 3 or 4 years old. We commend you for this. It is particularly pleasing to note that the Mbabane Golf Club current captain, Ms. Fisiwe Vilane, is a woman.
Mbali Sihlongonyane longumphathi welibhange leBuilding Society lelisekele lemidlalo uthi kuyabathokozisa kubona indlela abadlali beligaluva baseMbabane labadlala ngayo futhi bafisile ukuchubeka nebudlelwano lobuhle labanabo nelicembu leMbabane Golf Club.
Today has been a great success, and without you, today would not have been successful. The society shall continue to vouch its support, for as the economy favors us all, we shall keep an open door for our support. I thank you all for your attention and wishing you a wonderful week ahead.
Kanzilo hambe mbili kubobabe uvusi Dlamini.
The tournament early weekend lena it was too perfect. The weather was excellent, the attendance by the golfers was excellent, and the spirit within which the game was being played, it was just perfect. We really enjoyed the game.
Labanye labahambe mbili kubomake nguNosimilo Homo kanti esigabeni saka-B kube nguSiphesihle Mhlanga kulabanye labanyenti labahlomele. Lobikela umsakazo Eswatini TV temidlalo ngilinda Dlamini eMbabane.
Umdlali we-Tekball waseVenila laseNingizimu Afrika Oswin Edwards uthi lizinga lemidlalo we-Tekball lapha eSwatini lingetulu kunalelo laseNingizimu Afrika futhi kuningi labakufundzile basesekuleli. Edwards beyakhulumana ngenele imidlalo ye-Tekball Club Tournament kaManzini.
Ihlangano lidlalisa umdlalo we-Tekball kuleli yayibambe umcutsulano we-club competition njalo nakuphela inyanga kusukela ngenyanga lephelile. Kule nyanga lesetulu inyanga yendlovana lemidlalo ichubekile lapho khona bekunebadlali abachamuke eveni laseNingizimu Afrika. Oswin Edwards lodlala iqembu le-FC Ipa ubengilomunye wabadlali ababayingxenye lemicutsulwano uthi live leSwatini emidlalweni we-Tekball lingetulu kuneNingizimu Afrika kwanyalo futhi kuningi labakufundzile basesekuleli.
If I can compete, we are still crawling and you guys are definitely running. So we in the building phase, but it's nice to see a blueprint, you know. So it's definitely something we're going to take home and implement back home in South Africa. I'm definitely hoping to get the same level of professionalism, especially amongst the refereeing, and you know, even if players felt like, you know, that was hard done by everyone's sportsman, everyone said, you know what, let's carry on with the game. At the end of the day, it's the game that grows. So that's definitely something we want to take home.
Kanzi amaqembu labekangenelele imidlalo abesiphohlongo lokufaka ikhathi yona i-FC Hyper khona eNingizimu Afrika. Lobikela umsakazo Eswatini TV temidlalo ngilinda Dlamini eMbabane.
Siphethela lapho tindzaba tetfu tensimbi esikhombisa kanti sitaqhubekana leto lethambe imbili kulamanye imave. Mbiko yaveta ukuthi i-drug overdose seyibulala emamelika lamaningi.
The number of opioid-related deaths has been steadily growing in the U.S. in recent years. Newly released figures show in the year between June 2020 and May 2021, an estimated 104,000 people died from overdoses, mainly from opioids like fentanyl. Doctors on the front line have seen the devastation opioids are causing.
We see a lot of patients who come in struggling from the opioid epidemic. I see patients who come in wanting prescription narcotics. I see patients who come in after overdosing. And those sort of cases are what breaks my heart, because sometimes these patients know that they want to change, but they can't change.
Synthetic opioids are relatively easy and cheap to make and become most deadly when users don't quite know what's in the drugs they're taking. When combined with heroin, for instance, even a tiny dose of fentanyl can make an overdose much more likely. Almost all such drugs are produced outside the United States. Sourced mainly in China, they flow into the US through Mexico. The COVID-19 pandemic has made the opioid epidemic in the US worse. An organization called Groups Recover Together works with patients in 15 states, helping them fight their addiction. Jonna is undergoing rehabilitation in the state of Indiana. She's among 10,000 other patients enrolled in the Groups Recover Together program.
I lost my sister. My sister had epilepsy, and that's what killed her. From then on, I just felt like it was my fault. And I felt like drugs was going to help it. I was hunting for that high, those drugs, that liquor. I was looking for money, something to steal so I could go make money to get drugs. I think what really broke it was I wanted my daughter back. She was the reason I wanted to do better. One day I decided it was it. That was the day. It's gonna happen. Stepped in those doors and it's completely changed my life.
The worsening opioid crisis in the US began drawing national attention in the 2000s. In 2017, then President Trump declared the opioid crisis a health emergency. This past December, President Biden also declared a national emergency and gave the U.S. Treasury Department carte blanche to sanction foreign individuals engaging in the global trade of illegal narcotics and other drugs. America's medical community has mobilized to help people who are already addicted.
We have built up a network of clinics. We've built up a network of clinics where patients, after we see them, will be connected with an appointment with a clinic for counseling, for group therapy, whatever it is that they need to help them reach success in their pursuit of change.
According to the Commission on Combating Drug Addiction and the Opioid Crisis, drug overdoses cost the U.S. roughly $1 trillion a year and are a clear threat to the public well-being, national security, and American economy.
Kanti-ke esifundazweni sase-Afrika tickets tebantfu eveni lase-Nigeria babhekene nensayelo enkulu yekungakhoni uku-afforda kuthenga tindlu.
Nigeria's real estate market grew by 3.85% last year, its highest in 6 years. Experts say cities like Lagos and Abuja have the kind of buildings and architecture that are in high demand. Even as the demand for higher-priced real estate increases, access to affordable housing is difficult for millions in Nigeria. Fashion designer Precious Nwajiaku moved to Abuja in January.
I had to stay with my friend in, Maraba, just for a week. Then, before getting myself here. And here is inside, like off town. And it's as well expensive, not even cheap.
Nwajiaku paid 1 year's rent of $300 for this one-room apartment, but it does not even include basic comforts.
Then you pay for water. There is no water inside. As you can see, there's no lights, and there is nothing. There's no good road.
The housing disparity reflects Nigeria's economic divide. The World Bank says 22 million people in Nigeria do not have the housing they need, the highest number in the world. It's an issue Nigerian authorities have been promising to address for many years. In 2019, government officials pledged to supply 1 million affordable houses each year to help meet the demand for proper housing. But experts say the housing programs are not keeping up with Nigeria's population growth each year.
If Nigeria is reproducing to the level of 5 million every year, how many units of houses has government provided in a year? How many units of houses has private sector produced in a year?
Festus Adebayo, who runs an advocacy campaign for affordable houses, hosts an annual gathering and housing show. It aims to bring government and industry together to address the lack of affordable housing. Adebayo warns housing gaps will only worsen by the time Nigeria's population hits the estimated 400 million in 2050. Property developer Banji Adeyemo cites several factors for the high cost of building homes.
This is an era where foreign exchange has taken the new toll entirely, and most of the construction materials are they have foreign inputs. Government need to hasten up to bring down the cost of land, and it will reflect on the cost of production by developers for houses, because other materials don't have control by it.
Nigerian lawmakers are considering a bill that calls for rent to be paid monthly instead of once a year to ease the financial burden on citizens. But unless more houses are built, say experts, the gap will only widen and millions will suffer without one of life's most basic needs, affordable shelter.
Sitibethe lapho indaba tetfu ngaphandle kakuleli asibahlelete emakethe sabe sichubeke nehlelo.
Pay your TV license quickly and easily with MTN Momo.
Simply dial *007 *3 hash and select option 8 for TV license. Enter your national ID number as your reference and the amount you wish to pay. Then enter your PIN to confirm your payment. Once your payment has been made, you'll receive a confirmation SMS of your payment. If you're a first-time payer, you get another SMS for your TV license. So legalize your entertainment from the comfort of your home. Pay your TV license the easy and convenient way with MTN Momo.
Everywhere you go, MTN.
Welcome to Pandesino Pandestratini. Kamalami Spuso Dlamini, director and creator of Pandestratini.
I'm the main man.
You are the man.
The muffin man.
And action. Igama lami ngiSibusiso Dlamini, I'm the director of Pandestratini. The show came about through the environment lengikhule ngihlala kuyo. So ngikhule ngihlala endzaweni leSikomu. So kuhlala endzaweni leSikomu, there are so many things going on. There are so many markets and mahasili labawendawo bantfu labazama ukutiphilisa ngawo. For example, basengisombile bakoleka tinsimbi, khona chicken dust, those usual kind of hustle. Lokungadingeka ukuthi uye esikolweni ukuze ukhone lokwenza. When starting the show, we had so many difficulties. For example, we had to approach people, we had to convince them ukuthi athi sincincisibhuti noma ncincisisi noma ncincisimake sicela ukukushootha to show your hustle. Khona start encourage abantu labanye. So those things, because labanye baba nembutelo eminyeni, for example ukuthi utasendani, labanye basivela asifuni, but sakhona ukuthi bamsikhona kubakhulumisa understandane ukuthi le show lesinagendelani and how is it going to benefit yena and how is it going to benefit labanye bantu abaphila eVenda kangwane. Ngasiqala shooting yethu namhla we have my guy Linda Mhlanga lo limako lapha. How do you feel, my guy? You good? Right, okay, saqala kushoota nyalo kasi sihambile sesikhathi sekulima bona lo seligobagobile ilanga, which means the right way is either kwenda ekuseni noma kwenda nsambama. Angithi and then lapha I have my assistant cinematographer. Oh yeah. The first thing lesenda once we on set, we just load of the gear and then message lapho sakhuluma ukuthi utashoota kanjani, because kukahle kuba ne discussion batshela ukuthi utashoota kanjani, bakatse ini, bakatse nani, bangabe bona surprise bas how musa kwasitshela ukuthi utashoota lokho. So kwendeka kanyalo. So mawufike nje on set, the first thing njengoba benikhulumile on the phone before, ukhuluma nabo sibatshela ukuthi sitashutha lokho nalokho, so ukuze wakhe story lesikahle. Because ile langa lingala, because utamakhuluma utakhulumela utamala ngento uthatha this way mawukhuluma instead of ukuthi ukhulume ngendaba kwendasi. Although so kwehlaka so ku impossible but dabuka le kina so ku yeah it's a face le ya kube negate ngale takhamba ngala hambe ayile idingala abona abantu amshaka so manje utahamba ukhulume wathi ndahamba nawo le camera nahamba nawo nje ngaso maybe wena noma wala phela waphinda slap because ngifuna le wide lapha tamba tawonke le wide atamba tawonke ngale ngihamba ngale lenye mina icamera ndasasawona la ma detail tanda masinza ngaso ngizume in lapho then when ngithathe le safe shot uhambe undahamba nayo nje ngaso mina leke timbo betendeka on set bethi surprising because for example sihamba saya kashootha lo mfoyo ya scrap yard mashootha yena we had an occasion so lapho kona lo mfoyo futhi insimbi wamiswa amaphoyisa.
Waphela overload nje.
Eloko maphoyisa kwaphose kwanthatha ngi-overloading.
Akhile amaphoyisa akazange abanenkinga usambopha because I was so nervous ukuthi ngisamele ngobhelela umuntu and stuff, but lokho amaphoyisa akhona usiyekela sachubeka. I think that work on our advantage sakhona kuchubeka sashootha.
Le crew kwakulicembu lebeli kahle ngoba ngangilihamba lingikhuthata kokuthi no mfana nami ungabi nenkinga, chubeka nje usebenze lo msebenzi wakho, ungalingeni uthathe kudakamizwa.
Mabasaqala kungithebula laba thebulako ngativa nje ngide inkinga ngoba noma ngibuta lutho bebekade bangiphendula kahle kunginakekela nanami uma babuta siphendulane kahle nje kude ukuthi bese lomunye ubuyisa buso lomunye sewukhanza sowubheka lena.
Kusho ukuthi apha nesitradini sihambe etindzaweni letiningi, sihambisa esiphoxosini, komanzini, saya eliyengu, saya emankayane. So we're trying all our best ukuthi si-coverage i-hustle all over Swaziland, singabuki nje just one township la siphuma khona. So I think that we explore the best, and hopefully season 2 masachubeka we can be able to travel as far as maybe Dlavumisa, as Pigs Peak, just to show more of what the country holds on the hustle. I hope this show can benefit a lot of people. It shows different people labatiphilisa ngendlela letihlukene. Mabona nje ukuthi sinempuwe chicken dust from food up to lesifuna tafulo, which is more practical seafood, and ngibe nempulo omunye lo futhi insimbi, which doesn't demand any capital ukuthi bakhona ukuqala le business. It's just going around across insimbi, akhola insimbi hamba usascript. So if you look at the range alama hustle leswendawo, uyabonakala ukuthi Palestine can benefit a lot of people. Ngithi babukhona ubukela le show bese babona ukuthi athi kuthini nami ngatiphilisa ngale ndlela le.
Ngiyatshela babe yongelethi vungu vungu phelele kimi, ithi hey ngiyamfunga babe bonke labo ganda ganda bendlule kimi, ngivuke ekseni kusemanombo nombo, ngifike lana ngiyekutophanda sikhokho, ngoba impilo ayikhoma lula mnganami, kuzupope kumele uphande kazami, ngoba impilo ayisuye.
I think le challenges abanayo ukuthi sishute endaweni lapho khona sidinga i-permit ukuze sishute. Nalozama kwenda usisaka script yakhe number 1. Sitozama kucela ukuthi basivumele sithela ngekhathi. So lapho sometimes we also shooter ukhanze ukuthi kuze ngipermit.
Biba kuphu sukula kanje ayusubabu kubabu kubafu subaqethe wena uyathuthukina kanje, hayi bebangekhola ngithi laba bebangekho.
All in all, I think we overcame every problem we have and challenge, and as funzisa ukuthi we can do better on another season, on another episode.
Le show lena bengajabula ukuthi ibonise labasha ukuthi noma bangabe bahleli bangathola umsebenzi bangakhona kwenta lokuncane ukuthi bathole imali kunekwe ukuthi bahlale nje.
Le show lena phandle estradini the hustlers lengufise kakhulu noma kusehitweni yami ukuthi chubeke site more young people and show up their talents and their skills out there in those different communities so that they can also grow their skills and nurture their skills. Lengibona ngazuthi mina kimi vele kungisite kakhulu ukuthi ngibe nabo because naloko kunikete stability noma kunikete even the courage to do more, to do better, and kuningi futhi nalokunye lengufundzako from this company, because I can see ukuthi they just want to expose the talent and the skill of a young person and show that a young person it is possible outside as long as you are a hard worker, a committed person, a passionate somebody. It is all possible outside.
So I hope the show can just help everyone see because there are so many ways to hustle, there are so many ways to pilisa, and there's so many ways ukuthi ukhona ukuphanda estradini.
chocolate. No, so one chicken and love Talagabusha and love Bogos.
Safagna Chendira.
Go, Demnet Fumanati.
Look if Chetigiko Sebendis with a consu pilo beg sing white flame. And you know, sing Melilum Ganam, Besses Amba Sopan.
Ngafulo to the project in our ngikhona nami ngoba angisiwe umuntu othanza ukuthi info ingafa ngikhona. Isn't it life nesiyake umuntu ngangemuntu kuyafuna at least abe nawo 3 ma skills in life. Mina ngibonga kakhulu ngoba solo ngatsala ukusebenza lo msebenzi abadinga ngikusupport labantu.
Baby asedame futhi asibambe luthi asekhute buthi sehlulekise imithi singayengwa kuthi bandvu bathi baby asedame futhi indlela yinze imibono mithe ungeke wati imphumelelo ungeke uve injabulo uma ngingekho ngiyakwatisa ngiyakwethembisa baby asedame futhi khokha tinhloni ke khomba tinhloli susa kwesaba vusa kwethaba yethemba uwami nami ngiwakho baby asedame futhi look we didn't work out crook it missed out but love's not lost I love you still and I see it in your eyes you do too baby let's try again we didn't leave our time got over our tide but we so love still I love you and I see it in your eyes you do too baby let's try again asedame futhi mina nawe siyathandzana sihlanganiswe kwaphakathe simaphakathe kithi ngako ngingede ngikulahle ngiyakwatisa ngiyakwethembisa baby asedame futhi let's try again baby asedame futhi
I do the most.
Watch local TV on the go with the Eswatini TV app for only 20 emalangeni. Come on. Do the most with Eswatini TV app. Download from Google Play Store or App Store. We're good together.
Everywhere you go, MTN.
Asibenze sinemukele ehlelweni Kusile Breakfast Show sikuvusela nawe losanza kusivulela kulesikhathi sitawubuka leto temidlalo nayo insesele efete temidlalo Linda Master Dlamini ngitsitelo kwesari kusibekudlala yona igame Master ye Leopard ne Pirates khona eMbombela ngilisho ke Leopard akaphumeleli njengoba idliwe iPirates ngamagoli lasithupha 6-2 bengibukela le game Master
ngiyakhumbula solushaya ukuthi solayicala le game
bengibukela bengifuna ukutibonela mina ya badlale njani
ya lolu iRoyal Partito lo njoba usho ukuthi idlalile beyidlala igame yasekhaya idlalela khona eMbombela Stadium eSouth Africa kudlala kwayo le siyakhumbula ukuthi kwathiwa side stadium lesifit kumitha lama requirements aka CAF lafunekako so base bayodlala ke khona eMbombela badlalile ke itolo igame bekuthiwa itawucala nga6 about a week ago kwasese dashinje nje let cut seyiyabuya ibuya nga9 siyati ukuthi ibhola kahle kahle lolu seyaphathwa i-TV if labaningi ba understand because 6 clasha nale khathi sibantu batabe basaphithitela but 9 prime time yebhola kungawo igcina idlala ngalo 9 icale kahle iRoyal Leopard kulomdlalo ishaya nje 2 quick goals ku 10 minutes bayilida 2-0 iRoyal Leopard ligoli lamzwandile Mabelisa naye Thabiso Mankonkwane angati kube sesekutsinzeka kuphi because ngalendlela lamagoli ashayo ngayo ngicaba ukuthi but nje Lulu nawubuka ngalendlela labadlala ngayo the passing game lokuzama kudlala le position football idlalile but lawo ma mistakes because cishe onke lamagoli kube mistakes eRoyal Leopard nangisho kanjalo lo mnito wabuthi uthi ma mistakes lang 6 yes about 4 on goal yes on goal le lamaqhawe nje libalimete kakhulu but idinengele lama factors la affect igame le kanjena Lulu uyayibuke because sine sayasibuke 90 minutes kanzi before 90 minutes dinenge involate itendeke uyakhumbula ukuthi Royal Leopard ibuye Tuesday eAlgeria Friday yahamba shotsi banelanga linye la Thursday lokuthi bazame kujima uyabona because Wednesday urestile Friday uyahamba eMbombela Saturday ujima ukuqala kule ngudla yaseMbombela kanzi kusekhaya then Sunday uyadlala ngito le tinvele ngithi ma factors la affecta i performance team otherwise le performance yale team khohlwa ngale score ngalama goal ngalo 6 but le performance yale team I'm really happy the next game Mbombela futhi team yaseLibya ngicabanga ukuthi sebayijwayele lenkundla yes letinye izinto botibona ukuthi abasha kancane Pirates nesestretcher ifaka lama long balls because thina sijwayele inwele encane naseshala ama long balls bothola ukuthi sinenkinga more especially manqoba ngala ku left back besimane nginga kancane but otherwise the game itself Sifiso Matse played very well Junior Makakula played very well finally uthi tena kangena nakakhokha his twin brother Lungelo wangena naye wakhombisa lokuthi uyilambelele ibhola uyambona lokuthi uyadlala bakhona lokuphaselana otherwise I can't complain.
Yeah. All right. Siyadlala phenze futhi inangi iLeopard this Wednesday neHighlanders.
Yes, igame lengasalanga idecide first round. Sakhumbula ukuthi iMbabane Highlanders ngiyo lelida iRoyal Leopard. iMbabane Highlanders itsinga idraw kule game le kuze bawine yona first round. Royal Leopard they need to win. Asati ke ukuthi le game ngete yaba nemthelela le yayitolo kule game yanga lesithathu against iMbabane Highlanders because nawubuya kokhala pass kuyekwendeka ukuthi Spirit sithola ukuthi siphase kakhulu. Kodwa yona ke iRoyal Leopard siyakhumbula ukuthi nabantu odlala neYoung Buffaloes bayishaya bebabuya kokhala pass so ungeke kuze kukuluthe kakhulu etinweleto because nakulaba kufundzile Orlando Pirates ngicabanga ukuthi bangeta bakulungisa bakusebenzisa against iMbabane Highlanders. Having said that nayo iMbabane Highlanders on the other side by team lekhombisile ukuthi ilambele kakhulu kuwina something this season and bebane party over the weekend ngicabanga ukuthi Spirit setulu kakhulu bahamba baya eCarolina bodlala friend game bahamba baya eMozambique bodlala friend game so ngicabanga ukuthi for them bekungaseko nje ukuthi bahleti but keke Lulu I must say this a competitive game ne friendly game ayifani Mbabane Highlanders ayikadlali igame for 3 weeks official game ayikadlali for 3 weeks iRoyal Leopard kulo 3 weeks loyo idlale about 6 games. So uyabona ukuthi iMbabane Highlanders as much as bebakuform but ngenteka kubalimati kodwa ke again kungangokuthi iMbabane Highlanders ipressa kanganani iRoyal Leopard because bona ifatigue ibabambile njengoba ngisho ukuthi Tuesday bebabuye eAlgeria Friday bahamba bayembombela itolo bebadlala batawubuya namuhla uyabona so ngicabanga ukuthi lesikhathi sabo la mgwaqweni sinenge kakhulu if itawukhona iMbabane Highlanders ukuthi idlale very high press game itaba nenkinga iRoyal Leopard.
Itaba nenkinga. All right. Ngiyakhombela ukuthi be last week Friday besikhuluma ngendaba ye-tech ball lokuthi njengoba vele mhlambe bamfu sebayayadini vele sebayasadini le-sport lesi. Mangikwela tindzaba uconfirmile nje lokubhudwa South Africa wazunoko ukuthi vele South Africa sesengakadumi kangako but vele la Eswatini kwangathi sesihamba embili ibe kanjani le tournament ngempela somfo.
I-tournament club competition iqhubekile over the weekend and ke ngenhlanhla lenhle bekune team lecembu lase South Africa FC Hyper lapho khona umdlalo wakhona Ozwin Edwards udlalile wadlala lenye game na Taribo, a very good game but wawina Taribo ubona lokuthi yena Edwards uphiwe but ngicabanga ukuthi usikhanze sekulenye ilevel and nawubuka ukuthi umuva yena tikhulumela yena ukuthi vele iSwatini isengetulu kakhulu kune South Africa kunetimvo nabo labathathu fundzala and vele nawubuka nalama rankings ase Africa last year iEswatini beyilida being number 1 yabuya say number 2 nyalo in Africa so ngicabanga ukuthi kuyakutshengisa lokho ukuthi the teams Taribo nguyelo leader kula ngema point in the world number 12 kuma rankings akhona ka tech ball so ngicabanga ukuthi tonke letinvo lethu tiyakhombisa and nalama teams lamasha ukhuluma ngabo Musi Classic ukhuluma ngabo Malkens Vondos ukhuluma ngabo Olympia onke lama teams lawo asinaketha nabadlali labasha ngicabanga ukuthi babone lokuthi batimisele bayafuna ukusifundza le sport.
Yeah, all right. So ima league games sala break mosabuyani next week.
Yes, atawubuya kuleli viki lelitawo ema league games but laledlalako ngile game lengaphelanga le Highlander yes akusho ukuthi ama games asabuyile leyo i decider i first round siyathi ukuthi so lokubukona le El Carrot la first round ngoba labo Nsumbulwane laba bakusita ku second round ngicaba ukuthi both teams njoba sengishilo ngathi ayilambele but that's nakubuya yona i second round ema teams lamasha sorry ma teams atawubuya nabadlali labasha if batawukhona ukuthi bangene makethe labanye bo coach ngeke babuye nge second round kutawube kunabo coach labasha so nje we can't wait for yona i second round
next week. Yeah, Master, thank you so much for joining us today. It's 4 minutes before 8 o'clock. Asiphathele temangete nasibuya sitabuya silivale hlelo.
I do the most.
Watch local TV on the go with the Eswatini TV app for only 20 emalangeni. Come on. Do the most with Eswatini TV app. Download from Google Play Store or App Store. We're good together.
Everywhere you go, MTN.
Minutes before 8 o'clock sesiyaliphetha hlelo lamhla ekseni isibakho ukuthi nihlanzene nathi kunguye umsombuluko dingemashumi lamabili nesiphohlongo siyayiphetha ke inyanga yendlovana azike kusasa sicala inyanga lensha inyanga yendlovlenkulu silothani khumbuta ukuthi nisithumele leyo milayeto yama love stories enombolweni ku WhatsApp 7621 4888 kanti ke nitawukhona kuwina i-lunch for 2 hotela le George Gamanzini kanti mosonza kuzivelela ungakhathateki udakhona ukubukela ihlelo ku Kusile Breakfast Show khona ka YouTube. Nisale kahle nibe nelisuku loluhle.